So peace family, today I'm coming to you all with a video that is really important to me. This video, I'm gonna just jump right into it. This video is pretty much what I look at as my foundation video for my channel, my foundation video for my purpose, to kind of give you all an insight on what I'm all about and where I'm coming from. And I just want to start off a disclaimer. I may or may not have music playing in this video, but I will say that this video is going to be kind of lengthy. So if you don't like talking, you don't like long videos or whatever, then this video might not be for you. But I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible. I do have my notes written down with an outline and format and things like that to kind of keep me on track and not jumping all over the place, because I tend to jump all over the place. So just bear with me through this video. And like I said, it's my foundation video. There will be pictures included in the video, so let's get started. I want to start off with saying my name is Dana. I will kind of briefly explain my name, DanaShesQUEEN. Well, when I came into knowledge of self and self-love, I felt as if I carried myself as a queen. If I were to think back to, you know, the meaning of what a queen was back in those times of my ancestors and things like that, I'm not gonna say that I possess like every single quality that, you know, those past queens have had, but for the most part I feel like I carry myself very well, and I fit the description of a queen, or I look at myself as a queen and I carry myself as such. So I didn't want to say she is a queen, so I was just like, she's queen, and then I threw my name in front of it. So the name just kind of stuck, and now it's like universal on all my platforms except for Snapchat. So that's just a little bit of background about my name. But background as far as me, I'm from the South. I ain't gonna tell y'all what state. Pretty much my purpose, you know, growing up, I used to always want to be a chef. Well, first when I was younger, I used to want to be a veterinarian because I loved animals and I loved nurturing them and stuff like that. And then like as I got in high school, I used to want to be a chef. Like I was really big in the culinary arts. I wanted to go to the culinary arts program or school like near me, but you know, back when I was younger, I didn't really like school like that. I wasn't interested. That's a whole nother story. But you know, if you don't have good enough grades, and then on top of that you're not having the funds to be able to put yourself through school, then those dreams kind of die down. So as far as culinary arts went, I just didn't, you know, get to live out that dream. But you know, everything comes full circle, and I'm smiling because, you know, now with me being into holistic health and things like that, it played out the way that it was supposed to. So I still kind of get to live out my dream, just not the way that I had envisioned it, but it turned out to be even better. This video is all about my healing journey, and healing journey to me is you know, healing myself through mind, body, and spirit. Just, you know, being a better version of myself day in and day out, you know, being a better version of myself today than I was yesterday. You know, things that are negative in my life, you know, finding a way to turn them around into a positive, and just healing myself of things that are not beneficial to me. So whether that be my mindset, or how I eat, the things that I put into my body, the people who I surround myself with, all of those things contribute to healing. And you know, other people may have their own definition to what healing is, but healing is just to better myself, to restore and to recover myself from things, like I said, that are not beneficial to my mind, body, and spirit. I've pretty much been on a healing journey my entire life. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. I feel like I've been obese my entire life. It really started in 3rd grade is when I like looked back on my pictures and I found myself like getting heavier and heavier. And I really guess I could say like I was always that heavier kid that was around like everybody else who I was around. There was never a time where there was somebody heavier than me. you know, I was always, you know, the heavier kid, you know, amongst my peers and things like that. And, you know, when I was younger, it didn't really affect me. But like when I got up into high school, I really started to notice it. And it didn't affect me in the way where I became like suicidal or anything like that, or just not like wanting to live. But, you know, it was depressive from time to time. But of course, like being that age, I didn't know what depression was, or being in a depressive state was. You know, I just always wondered why I had to be, you know, the bigger kid out of everybody else. And I remember when I was younger, me and my cousin, you know, we were both having issues, some of the same similar issues, and we would literally act as if we had like a school and we were like the gym instructors, and like we get on the computer and like type out an itinerary for our class, and like go outside and act as if we had a class to do like physical activities to kind of like help us, you know, get, you know, physically in a better condition. And we just started trying to like map out meal plans and stuff like that to eat better. And mind you, we were like in 6th grade, and she was like a couple years younger, so she might have been in like 4th grade or something like that. And I just remember doing that. I remember you know, when I would try to change my eating habits and things like that, I was never satisfied with just cutting back portions, or, you know, cutting out, you know, sugary drinks, and doing things one at a time. I wanted my plate to look as natural and beautiful and colorful as possible. And when you eat it, you don't get that really disgusting fullness feeling, or what they call the itis. That was the goal of what I wanted my plates to look like. And I just felt like something was missing. But when I ran into veganism and raw eating, like, I felt like my life was complete. I was like, this is right here, this is what I've been searching for my entire life. But, you know, I just kind of kept missing the mark. I feel like I can say now that I've had an unhealthy relationship with food. I could eat for days, like, y'all don't understand. And I will start off by saying, like, my highest weight, I was like 270-ish. You know, sometimes I don't really know if I made it up to 280, but I know I was like 270-ish. And I was just really overweight. It was really sluggish. I didn't like taking pictures. My face was really fat. You know, for the most part, I feel like my anxiety was on a million. Like, I did not like people. I did not really socialize, to be honest, because I wasn't really comfortable in my own body. But at the same time, when I needed to pull through and do what I needed to do, like, I was able to be social, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I really didn't like being social, because I didn't like the state that I was in. And I didn't settle for that. Like, I always found a way to try to change that. And, you know, sometimes I gave up on it, or I wouldn't say give up, but sometimes I just didn't make it a priority. And then there were other times where I did. Many of us don't really know that we have really, really unhealthy relationships with food. Like, let me tell y'all, this is the one example that I always tell people. Like, my favorite food used to be those pancakes on a stick. Bruh, I would go in the kitchen and I would literally get like 3 or 4 pancakes on a stick at a time, like drizzled with an ass of syrup. Sometimes, like, we have those little sets of pancakes from Walmart. I think they come with like 12 individual sets in the bag, and then like within like one bag it has 3 pancakes. So like, I would go in there and get that, and then get the pork sausage, the microwavable pork sausage from Walmart. Go in there, get 3 pork sausage and 3 pancakes, stack them on top of each other, have that with a big ass glass of milk, because I used to love milk. And like, I would eat, and after I would eat, like, I would be stuffed, and then like 30 minutes to an hour later, like, I would be trying to find something else to eat. And then like, also while I'm eating my meal, like, I would be thinking of my next meal that I wanted to eat while I'm eating a meal. Like, mentally in that time frame, like, you don't think that nothing's wrong with that, because like, you just enjoy eating, you just enjoy the taste, you enjoy how it makes you feel. Like, when you eat, you kind of have like no worries. But at the same time, in the state of mind that I am in now, like, looking back on it, like, I had a serious issue. I would binge eat, I would excessively eat. Like, I remember, like, I tried to fast, But fasting to me back then just meant abstaining from food to lose weight. Fasting to me now means to heal the body, and I'm able to have a better self-control with coming into a fast and then coming off of a fast. But back then, you know, like if I would go a couple of hours, like it felt impossible damn near to go like 2 hours without food. And you know, after I would try to, you know, take a break from eating food, excuse me, I would just go and pig out, like grabbing Debbie cakes, grabbing crackers, having like a big behind like cup of Kool-Aid, like just finding anything like I could get my hands on. And it was like really, really unhealthy. How I started to kind of like drop weight is I had got really sick. Roughly 2012, I had gotten sick. I think I had excuse me, I had gotten sick. I think I had like a really, really bad sinus infection. My lymph nodes were swollen. My throat, like my tonsils, well, I don't have tonsils because I got them taken out in 5th grade, but my throat was really inflamed. I remember that week, like for like 2 weeks. I remember I was sick for like up to 2 to 3 weeks, but I know for the most part it was 2 weeks, and then that 3rd week it was kind of when like it subsided and I started to get back to my regular self. But I could not even eat soup. Like it hurt so bad. All I wanted to do was sleep. They had me on antibiotics. Like it was bad. That like I don't even know how I got that sick, but I got sick, and after I got better I noticed that I lost weight. And you could tell in my face. So after that is when you know, time passed. Like I started smoking. Let's be honest. Like I started smoking. A lot of people think that smoking contributes to weight loss, but I don't know. I'm gonna just chalk it up to that, because the weight just started falling off. People was asking me what I was doing, but you know, I ain't really know what I was doing. I mean, I knew that I had kind of cut back on like drinking juice and sodas and stuff like that, because that had my acne on a million, like face looking like connected dots. So I started cutting back on like sodas and stuff like that. And I remember like I just went heavy with drinking a lot of water. I think like during that time is when I started to kind of cut back on fried foods. Like I just kind of started to make healthier choices here and there. And like I guess over time, like it, you know, along with smoking of course, that it just kind of, you know, helped me lose a little bit of weight. It wasn't nothing drastic, maybe like 10-15 pounds. If that, but like I said, my highest weight was around 270-ish, and you know, before I had my daughter I was down to about 211, so like around 210. I'll kind of press forward a little bit. So then once I got pregnant, my highest weight got up to 245. After I had my daughter for roughly like around like 6 months to a year, my weight got up to like 250-ish. Yeah, because I remember that I think the highest it got up to was like 254. And like at first, like, because I kept hearing that breastfeeding would really help, you know, women who wanted to lose weight, that breastfeeding could contribute to some type of weight loss. And so like I breastfed for probably about 2 weeks. Let's just say, looking back on it now, I wish I would have continued to breastfeed, not for the sake of weight loss, but for the sake of the health of my child, because it's a no-brainer about how much healthier it is than bullshit ass formula. But I mean, no offense to people who formula feed their children, but I'm just saying, looking back on it, I wish I would have continued to breastfeed. But the weight wasn't coming off as much, and back then I used to really obsess over the scale. I used to day in and day out look at the scale. If it moved up like a pound or two, like I'm freaking out, I'm panicking. Like it's putting me in a state to where I don't really want to try anymore, because I'm just like, I'm giving it my all, like I'm trying, and the scale is still the same, or you know, like I'm doing all of this for nothing and the scale is still going up. I might as well, you know, just stick to my, you know, regular eating habits and stuff like that. So obsessing over the scale just really did me no good personally. The more and more that I became like self-conscious about my weight because I had gained so much weight, like being as though I had just had a child. You know, my mom was pretty much like, you know, give it time, you just had a baby, like give your body time to like readjust to itself. Well, yeah, I gave my body time and like the weight was not coming up. Like, you know, most people kind of like at least go back down to the size they were before they had a child, but nah, you know, me, like my baby weight was like, nah, we here to stay, like we ain't going nowhere. So I just started eating. Like I was like, fuck this, like I'm about to eat whatever I want, when I want, how I want. And then like as I slowly started, like not even slowly, within 2 to 3 weeks of me eating the way I was eating, like giving no fucks, the scale went up. The scale went up to like 10 pounds. And at that point I was like, I was like, Dana, I was like, if you keep eating like this, the scale is going to continue to get up. Like it's not gonna get any better. There's no way around it. Like you just need to do what you need to do. Try to figure out how to eat healthier and stick to it and be consistent with it, because if not, you're going to only dig yourself into a deeper hole. So at that point in time, when I had made the decision to like better myself and start eating a little bit better and start being more conscious of, you know, what I was putting into my body and stuff like that, it was probably like 6 months after I had my daughter. So it was around December. So December is when December of 2014 was when I really started to take my health more seriously. I got into like the Beachbody and those little portion size cups and stuff like that, the Shakeology shakes. Like I started getting into those and just really being more conscious at, you know, what I was putting into my body. Instead of frying, I started grilling. Instead of like drinking a lot of sugary drinks and stuff like that, I started to drink, you know, like a lot of water. And I started trying to do Insanity, max 30, and then eventually I got into Insanity. But of course, because I struggle with being consistent a lot of the times, I didn't really stick with it, but I kept going back to it. So I don't feel as if I quit. I just, you know, wasn't consistent. So that's when I can really say like I really started taking my health a little bit more seriously. And then fast forward from December of 2014 to May of 2015, it was, you know, my daughter's first birthday, and I remember like 5 days after, like I was eating a piece of her birthday cake, and I was just like, okay, after this, tomorrow, like I'm gonna try vegan, because I ran into veganism and stuff like that, and I was like, like y'all is insane. Like y'all cutting out meat, y'all cutting out dairy, like what are y'all eating? Like how do y'all enjoy food? Like this kind of hurtful to my soul a little bit. So I was just like, like, do I really want to do that to myself? You know, after doing a little bit of research, like I would hear that, you know, if you want to lose weight the correct way and actually keep it off, then, you know, you need to abstain from dairy. You know, like they were saying that meat contributed to a lot of weight gain, and just the everyday basics of my eating, just, it was just like they were saying, no, that's wrong, or no, this is wrong. So, you know, of course I felt as if it was a punishment, and I just couldn't even fathom giving up meat, because a lot of people tend to look at me now, with me not eating meat, they tend to look at me like when they hear me speak about not eating meat, and I advocate for abstaining from flesh and things from flesh, like people tend to look at me as if I never partook in it in the first place. Like I didn't used to be a big meat eater. Like I didn't used to be a big junk food eater. Like I didn't used to be super overweight. Like people tend to look at me like that, and it's really annoying, because it's just like, y'all, I speak from a place of experience. Like I've been through these things. My experience may not be identical to yours, but at the same time, we definitely can relate, because I've been through something similar. So I'm speaking from a place of my own personal experiences. So that's a little bit annoying when people look at me sideways when I be like, you know, let go of the meat, let go of the cheese, let go of the eggs. Like, so I took the initiative to try it. I was like, you know, I'll try a couple of meatless recipes and stuff like that. So I think like one of the first things I tried was like meatless spaghetti. and it was so good. Like, y'all would never think, okay, that you would think that, okay, if I lift the meat out of some spaghetti, like, I'm gonna notice. But nah, I didn't notice. Like, it tastes just as good as having meat and spaghetti. So for about 2 weeks, I went meat free, like after my daughter's first birthday party, and after that I backslid. From that May up into November, I binge ate meat like crazy hard. And like, during that period of time, during that course, you know, of course the scale started to go up. The scale, you know, didn't stay the same. I didn't like the way that I felt. It was like your body tends to show you signs and give you clues of its state, like long before like you're deemed with any type of disease or ailment. And it's just best that you really listen to your body. And my body was just, you know, telling me to let go of those things, because like in that 2-week trial that I, you know, abstained from meat, like I didn't realize that my body, you know, enjoyed that. You know, during that course of time of me binge eating on meat, you know, my body was pretty much telling me like, okay, it's time for you to let this stuff go. Like, it's not benefiting you any. I like, you know, us without it. So like, please disconnect if you can. That brings us to November 4th of 2015. And that is the day that I last had my piece of meat. Now, I like to say that I've been meat free since November 4th. Most people say that fish and like crab and lobster and shrimp and stuff is associated with flesh, which I feel like it is, because, you know, for the most part they do have some type of blood. Well, fish, you know, has blood or whatever, and you know, all of them are living creatures. But I look at poultry, like chicken, turkey, beef, pork, I look at that separate from fish. I look at poultry as being meat, and then fish I just look at it as seafood. I don't look at fish as meat. Like, I don't know, like everybody has their different way that they look at it. But I'm not saying that fish and poultry are not flesh. I'm just saying that when I say meat, I'm referring to the cow, the chicken, the pig, the turkey. That's what I'm referring to when I say meat. So I've been meat free since November 4th of 2015. I think it's been like 2 months. 2 months since I've had any type of seafood or anything. From that day forward is when I stopped eating meat and I let it go. Now, with this transition into being plant-based, I don't even like using the word vegan so much, because like social media and people just tend to ruin shit all the time. Like, the whole purpose, and I'm gonna jump, I know, like I said, I warned y'all, I jump from topic to topic, but for the most part, being vegan, to some people, like, you have ethnical vegans who go vegan for the sake of the animals. You have people who go vegan for the sake of their health and weight loss. You have people who go vegan because it's a lot more better for the earth and things like that. But the whole point of being vegan to me is to make better choices, not to really rely on meat substitutes or dairy substitutes, or, you know, to go from one processed food to another. I'm sorry, got my hands moving. To go from one processed food to another, but it's to adopt a plant-based whole food lifestyle. That's what veganism is to me. But of course you have, you know, companies that have made like vegan chips and vegan cookies and vegan cakes and vegan sausage and vegan meats and vegan cheese and vegan milk, and, you know, just replacing processed food with processed foods. And I have been, you know, not a victim, but I've been guilty of indulging in those types of things, especially in the beginning of me transitioning into veganism, because it does help you kind of wean yourself off of the meats, especially if you are craving them. Like, I know for my cheese cravings sometimes, with me actually dedicating this time around to abstain from dairy, like, I've indulged in some cheese substitutes, and it has helped my craving, because I'd rather indulge in the cheese substitutes than the actual real thing. So I mean, it has its pros and cons, but I mean, just beware that, you know, being vegan and adopting a whole plant-based lifestyle is not solely about going from one version of junk food to a somewhat healthier version of junk food. The whole purpose is to abstain from junk food as much as possible, and just to go and adopt a, you know, the most natural way of eating as possible. But instantly when I started cutting out meat out of my diet, the weight started dropping off. I remember going from like 245 to like 240, then it went to like into the 230s, then it went into the 220s, and so on and so forth. And I was like, wow, like I've never, you know, out of all the things that I've tried to do to contribute to me getting healthier, like this is the first time where the scale has actually reversed and actually has been, you know, consistent at reversing and has been stable. So, you know, I was really impressed with that, and from then it had me sold. The biggest thing that I feel like with cutting out any of these things, like most people would think, you know, it's meat, like meat being the hardest thing to cut out, but for me personally, dairy was the hardest thing to cut out. Like I claimed, and this wasn't intentional, this was very much so unintentional, for the last 2 years, which it hasn't been 2 years yet because it's not November yet, but it's almost there. But for the last 2 years, I have been off and on vegan. And why I say that is because there's been periods of time, like for the whole 2 years, I haven't had any type of meat. You know what I mean? But, you know, I've gone periods where I've gone like a month up to a month and a half without any type of dairy. And during that time, I called myself vegan. But then I would backslide and, you know, slowly, you know, make my way back into the same habits of, you know, eating dairy and things with dairy in them. And then that would exclude me from being vegan. And, you know, from time to time, I would indulge in seafood. And then that, you know, excluded me from vegan. So, you know, all of this time, like, I'm striving to be vegan, but technically I'm pescatarian. So for the last 2 years, I've been pescatarian. And as of October 13th, 2017, I have been what they call vegan, or what I like to call plant-based. I'm 204 pounds. I'm almost under the 200s, which a lot of people might be like, you're not ashamed to tell the world your weight, or you put out your weight on the internet and you don't know who watching your videos and this is that and the third. It's like, okay, look y'all, I care about certain things, but at the same time, I am here to help inspire anybody who, or at least inspire one person to want to take control of their health. So if that means me being vulnerable, if that means me putting out information that is personal, or somebody else may look at as personal but I may not look at as personal, then I'm gonna do so. Like, I'm trying to be as open and vulnerable as possible, because I feel like along with healing myself, like I want to be able to heal others. And through this journey, like, I'm learning, I'm constantly learning. I don't know everything. I try my best to come to you with accurate information, and I'm just really passionate about it. I'm striving to be a holistic health healer, or a holistic health goddess, a holistic health queen, you know, whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm all about naturalism, I'm all about nature, I'm all about doing things the holistic way, the holistic route. Like, it is my passion. And I know at the beginning of the video I said something about coming full circle, and about me being a culinary, like being into, like, you know, dealing with foods and things like that. Like, that is a passion of mine. It didn't work out the way that I envisioned it the first time, with just dealing with all foods, but the fact that I'm dealing with holism, I'm dealing with the fact that I'm dealing with a more natural approach to life, I'm able to still, you know, deal with food, but now in the correct way. So I feel like that was my purpose the whole time. I just had to go through certain things in life in order to get up to this point and really understand my purpose. Because for the longest, you know, a lot of people, for the longest, I didn't know what my purpose on this earth was. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but this is what I want to do. I want to inspire. I want to help heal others while helping heal myself. And it's like, I help you, you help me, we help each other. Like, I want that type of relationship with my supporters. And hopefully throughout this video I gave you a little bit of insight on my journey, or hopefully I gave you a little bit of insight on who I am as a person and where I come from and how important it is to me with health. And I cannot be fully honest with you all without adding this into my video. Smoking Black and Milds and tobacco products. Like, just I'm gonna briefly speak about it. I started smoking Black and Milds back in May. I know everything seems to happen around the same time, right? Back in May of 2016 when I was in Houston, I picked up Black and Milds, and I was pretty much smoking them heavily for, like, when I first started out. For the first couple of months, I was smoking like 2 or 3 of them a day. Like, money wise, like, I don't even want to count. I don't even want to count, even though it's like $1 and some change for one. Like, I don't even want to count how much money was spent on smoking Black and Milds. Going on 16-17 days since your girl had a black, so shout out to me for you know, putting those down. It had been about 1 year and 2 months of me heavily smoking them, and when I tell y'all, there have been so many times where I told myself that, okay, I was gonna stop smoking them, and then, you know, the next day, like, I make an excuse to have it, then I make an excuse to have dairy, and I'm just like, okay, well, since I slipped up with the black, then I'm gonna just go have some dairy too while I'm at it. So I'm gonna just do all these bad habits in one day, and then, like, I'm gonna start over tomorrow. Then tomorrow came, and it was the same excuse, and then, you know, eventually I just got tired of telling myself I was gonna stop, and, you know, I just continued to move how I moved. And then, like, at some point in time, like, I just got really tired of just letting myself down. Like, I knew there were things that I needed to accomplish and that I wanted to accomplish, but I couldn't get out of my own way. So I just said that, look, Dana, like, again, we have this, you know, face-to-face, one-on-one meeting, you know, with my higher and lower self, and it's just like, we came to terms, like, it's time for you to get your shit together, period, point blank. Like, how are you going to heal yourself and want to be an inspiration to other people, but you continue to somewhat indulge in things that are not beneficial to you? Because you kind of sound like a hypocrite. Like, you need to live in your truth all the way. Like, you're not gonna half-ass it. So I just chucked it up, and I was like, you know what, self, you right. Like, you know, in order to heal, like, people think healing is all, you know, like rainbows and unicorns. Like, nah, like, healing is just checking yourself when you need to be checked. Like, you know, being aware of things that you need to fix, and, you know, even if it takes time to fix these things, or, you know, get, like, realign your mindset and things like that. Like, as long as you do it, and as long as you're making a conscious effort, even if they're small efforts, to you know, fit together the puzzle pieces to the bigger picture, then that's what healing is. To me personally, that's an aspect of it. So I'm gonna show you all my chart that I made. So this is my chart I made. Excuse the lettering, it's kind of messed up, but I'll try my best to explain what's going on here. It just says days Black and Mild free. Of course, I started on the 13th, and for every 5 days I circle so that I can just easily count. This triangle just meant that I made my 2-week mark, and I actually messed up with the color, so that's why there. And that marks, like, of course, the 5th day. And then I just have it laid all the way out into the end of December. I'm just really proud of myself. I'm very, very proud of myself. But like I said, I am here to inspire. This channel also means a lot to me because I have another channel labeled Dana J, and you can go check out some of my old videos. You might see some videos of me when I was a lot chunkier, whatever. But I'm just here to heal myself and inspire, and I can't help anybody else until I help myself. And in the process, I am helping myself, and I'm documenting my journey. And in the course of documenting my journey, I'm hoping to inspire somebody else to, you know, take control of their health and heal themselves. And y'all are gonna see me grow. Y'all are gonna see me grow on this channel. Y'all are gonna see my ups, y'all are gonna see my downs. y'all are gonna see my accomplishments, my failures, which I don't really believe in failure unless you actually quit and never try again. So with that being said, I'm just a queen on her journey to healing and hopes to inspire others to take control of their healing. Stay tuned and definitely look for more content from my channel. If there are any specific things that you want me to kind of touch on, any questions, concerns that you have, if you need help, then just definitely find a way to send me a message. I'll link all of my social media accounts down below in the description box. You can try to hit me up in a comment on here. You know, whatever I can do to help, like, I'll be more than willing to help. So with that being said, thank you all for watching this video. I'm sorry it was really, really long. I'm gonna shut up now, and I'm sorry also if I was all over the place, but hey, you know, at least it got all out there. So at the end of this video, I'm gonna include some pictures. Yeah, thank you for watching this video, and peace and love.